Hello everyone, this is RB Jewels from STO Handmade Jewelry and Craft Spot. Today I'm going to teach you how to do an even count peyote bead, and you're going to bead around a key. And this is one of the simplest ways that you can use a peyote bead to decorate a piece. Next week, I'm going to show you how to do another project using even count peyote with beads. So for this project, you're going to need a key, any size that you desire. I like skeleton keys. Some 11OC beads. You can use a 15 or another 11OC bead and some crystals. And you will need your thread, pair of scissors, and your jewelry pliers to flatten down your beading thread. And this is the thread that I use, okay? And you're gonna need a ruler, and that's just to measure out your the inside of your bead, so you know just about how much. What this is an inch, but we want to do a little less than an inch for this key. And so we'll have this measurement, so when we start adding our beads, we know how many beads to put on the thread, and we'll work from that point. And we want it to be an even count from that point, okay? So let's move all the other stuff aside and let's get started. We're going to push the other beads back because we're not going to need them right now, and we don't need the crystals right now. So what we need right now, well, we do need a stop bead. So we're going to take one of these 15-Os, take one of the 15-Os, bring it all the way down, and leave a short tail so you can sew the tail in on the other side. Doesn't have to be really long. About 2 inches. Let me see. Nope, this is more than 2 inches. It's about 6 inches. That'll be fine. Apologize if I'm shaking the camera. I apologize for any other noises that I cannot control. I do live near Air Force Base, so you may hear an aircraft from time to time. And I do have my air conditioning on, and sometimes my family's moving around, so that's that. So we're going to put a number of beads that's going to be a little less than an inch on this ruler, and that's what we're going to work with. And this is a pretty simple design. I will show you another design. Straighten this needle out a little bit. Sometimes when I sew, I sew and my needles get wrapped, bent. Sometimes they do break, but I haven't experienced a lot of that. So this is right at 1 inch. So let's see how many beads they are. It's there, and then we'll know what we need to. We're gonna have to definitely take away because we want it to fit. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So since this is an even count peyote, We can't just take one off. We're going to have to take two of the beads off. Okay? And then we're going to see which is going to be so we would definitely have the right amount of room. Okay, and you're going to let your beads drop down, and we're going to do the odd even count peyote. I got odd count peyote on the brain, but we're going to do an even count peyote. You're going to pick up a bead, and you're going to skip the first bead and go through the second bead. And I hold the thread like that because the first bead is generally very wiggly and wants to do what it wants to do. And we're going to continue to skip a bead and add a bead. This project is going to be a fairly quick project, and just will give you some idea of how you can make some really, cool earrings or pendant with keys. And you know what? I'm a mom, and I forgot that this weekend is Mother's Day weekend. And I do want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms, and even though some of the dads who may be raising their children without the mom, you do a lot of the things that moms do. So enjoy your day as well. So you want to continue to skip a bead and add a bead. And this style and design of beading is nice for a gift for a person, can be given as a Mother's Day gift. I'm sorry, I wasn't even in frame. I'm busy running my mouth. So basically what you're doing here is you're skipping the first bead and you're linking into the second bead, and you're coming out. You're skipping this bead and going into the next bead. You're skipping this bead and going into the next bead. And you're going to do this all the way down until you get down. And then you're going to flip your work over. Okay? And you're going to continue. Now you're just going to be filling in the spaces. That's pretty much what you're going to be doing now, is just filling in the spaces. Sorry about that. I don't know why today I'm having a hard time staying in frame. I greatly apologize for that. So, and you're going to skip a bead, add a bead, and the thing with this is that you have to make sure you do 2 sets of beads, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a minute. So let's continue to do this. And you see, I'm going to show you. See if I'm at the point where I can show you this. So, let me see. With this even count peyote, you generally have to do 2 rows in order to be able to close it and zip it up on the other side. So that's what we're going to do once we get to enough beads. This side has to be able to zip up on this side in a tube shape. And you're going to also, once your bead square gets wide enough, you're going to start putting it around the key to see how much more, how many more rows you may need to complete before we can go to the next step. So with this step right here, I'm going to sew this last row with you, and then I'm going to give you further instructions. And then I'm going to let you go and finish this step before we get to the next step. And don't worry about it if your bead, if you know, while you're beading it gets a little bit wiggly. That's going to happen. It's just, you know, that's just the way that it is. So what's going to happen here is, okay, I'm going to lay this here so you can see just what I'm saying. Okay. Now see how we're beading this? And this is right where it needs to be. What you want to do is continue to sew your bead strip until it almost fits around where it looks like you can just close it. Okay? So you're going to sew around from this part, from this side all the way to this side. Excuse me. And we will move to the next step. Also, something I wanted to mention, see how we took the 2 beads off? Imagine if we had sewed with the additional 2 beads on. It would have been entirely too long. See that? We took the 2 beads off to make sure that it fit in measurement. And when we put it on there, it seemed like it was going to be short, but in all actuality, it was the exact size. So glad that we took our time with that. So I'm going to let you go and let you sew your strip until you get enough rows to fit around on the other side, and then we're going to come back and go to the next step. So we're back. So you should have sewn your strip, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. Okay, you should have 7 rows. Now you want to take your key and see how it fits. It should fit just like this. And what we're getting ready to do now is you're going to take your thread, following the thread path. And as you can see, it's going to be really easy to zigzag through this, but I'm going to do this slowly so you can see it. I'm going to hold this. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera as I do this. Okay? And then you're going to take and you're going to go through the next bead. And it's going to zip as you go through. And you can see that it's closing. Relatively easy. Just keep your eyes on the beads. When I first learned how to do this, it just looked so complicated, and it wasn't until I actually tried it and practiced a couple of times and realized that it was not as difficult as it appeared to be, or as I was making it to be in my mind. And the more I did this, the easier it became. And you're going to continue to sew through, and then you're going to come through on the other side, and we're going to reinforce it. Sorry about that, my hand got caught up in the thread, and that happens from time to time. And you're going to continue to sew through it. And you're going to sew on this side. And then you're going to close it on this side. Okay? Now it's closed. So then what you're going to do, you're going to zigzag on the other side, and this is just going to tighten it up. And you're just focusing on the middle bead and the side beads. Ooh, sorry about that. Okay, come back in frame, and you can reinforce this as many times as you wish. But sufficiently, especially if you're going to wear it as a pendant, 2 will be fine. You don't want to pass no more than 3 times. I don't know what's up with me shaking the camera so much today. I greatly apologize. I'm not trying to make you sick or anything. And we have one more step, and we are almost finished. We're just going to add a little decoration today. As you can see in most of my pieces, I add a little bit of bling. And if you're happy with stopping right at this point, okay, you can. But I'm going to add a little bit of decoration at the top of the key and at the bottom. So then you come through and you go up the side of the key right here. You go down. You come up. You go back down. And we're going to come up. So now what we're going to do, just going to add a little bit of decoration. And for me, I do that because, let me pull the camera back up some. There we go. Okay. The reason why I've been working with brighter colors because I'm trying to stay away from darker colors and trying to use colors that make you happy. Will make me happy. I'm not forcing my happiness on anybody, but hopefully, you know, maybe you want to be a little happy. So, and then you pick up the 15-0. As you can see, you go down through the bead, and then you want to make sure you pull it up through, make sure no threads are showing. I'm kind of talkative today. And then you want to pick up a crystal, pull these down so you can see it. Then pick up a 15-0. And you want to pull it down. Go only through the crystal and go back through the bead. And then go up through the next bead. Pick up a 15-0. Go back down through the bead. Then go back up through the next bead. Pick up another crystal and another 15-0. Let it drop down. And come back down. Go up the next bead, pulling it tight, making sure that the thread is going through all the way up and coming all the way back down. Then you want to pull it down, turn, go back up. Make sure that the thread does not get hooked into the key. Pull it all the way back up. Get a crystal and a 15-0. Let it drop all the way back down. Go through the crystal only. Go back through the bead. And you can go back up through and pick up another crystal. Another 15-0. And the reason why you may have two beads like this is because we're doing an even count peyote, and you need another bead. See what I'm talking about right here? Where the thread may come, you just have to come and pull it back down. So now what you want to do is, same way we zip through the other side, let's make sure these crystals, sometimes you have to go through and make sure that they are really, really tight. Then you pull the next one, make sure it's tight. And then pull the next one. Make sure it's tight, then pull the next one. Then you can pull this one. And it'll be tight. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to zigzag back through and get to the other side. And you can pick up 2 beads at once. You just have to make sure. Whole thing just came out my hand. You have to make sure that you're picking up 2 beads in the same direction. So you pick up this bead and you can pick up the next bead. See that? You can pick up 2 beads. I stuck myself with the needle. Sorry for that noise. And it went under my nail a little bit. So I'm picking up 3 beads. As long as it's on the diagonal and it hides down into the thread, you can pick up more than 1 bead, go through more than 1 bead. If you don't feel comfortable, then you can just take your time and zigzag through the beads. See that? So now on this side, we're going to add decoration. Okay. See where I made this mistake? Right here, going through the beads. I went through the beads twice, and I don't know what I did. Or did I? Let me see. I did. So when this happens, and I'm glad the mistake did happen, you just take and you're going to pull your thread off the needle. And just pull your thread back through. Re-thread your needle. Woo. Going to re-thread your needle. Okay. There you go. There you go, back through. Okay, get the other thread out the way. So then you just take your time. Sorry about that. After you re-thread your needle, take your time and go through. Then go through the next one. And then through the next one. And that's what happens sometimes when you rush. And you should just take your time. So let's pull this back frame so we can see what we're doing next. So right here we're going to pick up a 15-0. Okay. You're going to go back down through the bead, making sure that the bead is in tightly, snug and tight, and the thread is snug and tight with it. Then you're going to pick up another crystal, and then you're going to pick up a 15, let it drop all the way down, Go back down through the bead. Pull it all the way down. Today is just one of those wild days. Happens to the best of us. Go back up through the next bead. Pull it all the way up tight. Grab a 15-0. Go back down through the bead. Make sure it's tight. Go through the next bead. Pull that bead out the way. Go through the next bead. Sorry about that. Go up through the next bead, making sure it's tight and snuggly. Pick up a crystal. Let it drop down. Let it drop down. Go back only through the crystal. And you know, sometimes you got to work through situations sometimes where it just seems like everything is just working against you. Sometimes you just got to keep going. And just do the best you can. Go back up through the next crystal. Trying to keep this camera straight today. And then come back down. Make sure it's in tight. Go back up through the next bead. Hold it in tight. Pick up a crystal and a 15-0. Go back down through the crystal only and go back down through the bead, because this is what locks the bead in place. Okay, we'll do that tightly. Move that on the other side. We're almost done. Go back up through the bead. Pick up the last bead and let's go down. So now we're going to tie off. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go down through. You want to go down through a bead. You want to go down through another bead. Okay. Then you want to catch the thread bridge right here, like that. And you want to bring the needle through, pull it tightly, go down through the next bead. Catch the thread bridge again. Sorry about that. Put the needle through the loop, pull it, go through the next bead so the knot will hide in between the beads, and you want to pull it down. And then you want to take your scissor and you want to catch the bead, Hold it down and let it slide through like that. And then with the other side, usually you can sew through with that, but because we closed it in already, what we want to do is just take our scissor and do the same exact thing on the other side. And let it slide down through. Cut it off. Let's move everything over to the side. Okay, let's just move everything over to the side. And now you have your beautifully designed key with a little bit of embellishment. And you can take it, and because of this side, you definitely want to make it, you can make it a pendant, or you can add it to your key ring. So until next time, happy crafting.